What's going on, guys? Today I'm bringing another live Q&A. End off the week well by answering all of your fitness questions. So we're just gonna wait till people step in. Trying something new today in 4K. Hopefully it works and it's not laggy. Otherwise I can always adjust settings halfway through. Got the homies coming in. I think there's a bit of a delay in the chat though. Or maybe it's not showing up at all right now. After all, it's not even 5 o'clock yet, you know? And just to give you a heads up, we're gonna be going, what is this, concurrent viewers? Okay, perfect. There you go. Now we're getting the comments. What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome. Your shred was insane, man. Yo, I appreciate that. Hey, Con One Live. Yeah, I know it's a little bit random. I wanted to do it on the 25th last time, but that was a busy month. So we're gonna do it at the start, somewhat early. And we're gonna go for like 2-3 hours depending how you guys are vibing with me. What's up, Resistance Quest? Appreciate you. Right on time, you're a legend, Alex. Yo. Hello, Alex. What's good, Alex? Yo, yo, yo. I'm doing very good. I had another video planned for today, but I was like, you know what? Let's go live. You know, answer some questions. Should be fun. Hey, looking great today. Hey, bro, you gonna grow the beard long again anytime soon? Absolutely, man. I'm growing it out for a few months. I want to get it bigger than last time and shave the head as well to see what that look appears like. Kind of Kratos mode, you know, or Kratos. So, should be fun. Right now, it's a bit growing out, but whatever. You are massive. Appreciate that. You see the size came back? When I was shredded, bro, this was actually loose. But now the pecs, the traps, everything is like filling in, you know what I'm saying? So I feel really strong. The gains are coming in strong. It's absolutely amazing. Now, one thing I'm confused about. Concurrent viewers. It's like 2 different numbers I'm getting here. Usually it doesn't say that. It says chat rate and playbacks, whatever. You are the positive influence of online fitness, Alex, bro. Yo, I try to keep it positive over here because that's how my mind is wired. I do have a realistic perspective about how things work out here, but that doesn't stop me from having the right attitude. And you should too. Regardless of what the world is trying to do to you, maybe put you down or set these expectations that aren't to your liking, it doesn't matter, man. Just keep your head up high. As cliche as it is, trust the process and everything's gonna be fine. So, like, what else are you gonna do? Be negative about the inevitable? Something that was bound to happen? Alright, so anyway, enough rambling about randomness. I probably didn't make any sense in these last few minutes. Now we're going to start diving into your questions, guys. So let's do it. Gonna go for 2 or 3 hours. And if we can timestamp this, that'll be fantastic. Maybe I can go ahead and do that depending how many questions we get in total, okay? Alright. Hubert Wazkiewicz. I don't know how to say your name, bro. How's your leg training going? Pretty good, man. Muscle memory is kicking in strong. As you know, I've been lazy with legs for many years now. So now that I'm finally back at it, it's like rapid improvements. Improvements that I haven't seen since the novice phase for the most part. It's explosive and abnormal, but it has everything to do with my own doing. Keep in mind, I barely trained my legs at all in 2021. So this year, it's honestly well beyond my expectations so far. Already back at a 545 low handle trap bar deadlift. I'm sure I'm like right under 6 plates on the sumo as well, if not directly at it. Good morning. I'm up to 2 plates for reps, so that's awesome. Squatting 315 for reps, no problem. Leaving reps in reserve, like, we're good. I would say my squat, it's It's probably in the really low 400s at best, which is kind of garbage considering my bench, but you know, I was the laziest guy of all time. And it's only been like a few months of doing this, and I came back from being shredded. So not even my upper body's back to full status, just to say. So everything's coming along. My legs are like, actually my hamstrings came back. When I was shredded, I lost all of that, bro. Now it's looking juicy. My pants are tight. It's just phenomenal. So I'm going to give you some lower body footage. Just not right away because, like, get in my shoes for a sec, right? I literally starved myself to death. You saw my face, right? It was pure death mode, weak as hell. And I'm going to post lower body workouts? Nah, man. Get a bit of base, then we do it, okay? And that's going to be pretty soon. And also the SS3 that I got from Bells of Steel and the belt squat is phenomenal. Really allows me to drive in the volume. So stay tuned for that, all right? All right. You do more up shots in your videos, just saying, yeah, I'm experimenting with that, homie. I put my camera really low. Got a nice tripod too. Okay, we got the first super chat. Bilal Mohammed, appreciate you, bro. Hey Alex, as much as I try to progress on the Pendlay on your novice program, I never feel it strict. How do you feel about full ROM? Cable row was the wide grip bar for 3x8. I don't really have an issue with that anymore, though. With novices, lower back fatigue shouldn't really be a problem. Considering you're Pendlay rowing, what, 95, 135 pounds, your form should not be that distorted. It's probably less than your actual body weight. When people do those cheat reps that are jerked all over the place and they lose that upper back tightness or the form is just not crisp, that's when they're closing in on intermediate for the most part. Like at a bare minimum, 185 pounds. So if you're not there at least, you're probably just ego lifting straight up. So I would not make the transition just for that when there's no reason to drop a good exercise that does have a good stimulus to fatigue ratio right now. So in my opinion, keep milking the Pendlays at least 185, so a plate and a half, and then you can switch to cable rows because those are also great. In fact, it might be a better choice for a lot of people who are really trying to milk out their linear gains for the squats and deads. That's when lower back can potentially become an issue. For the wide grip bar, though, that's going to be more upper back. So you have to ask, what are you trying to bias with a cable row? Depending your hand positioning, that's going to change things a lot. So I hope that helped you out, man. You didn't notice the first super chat. Oh, it goes in the opposite order. My bad. All right, another super chat. Ryan Stewart, what's up, man? Thoughts on Bulgarian life for the bench press? I'm not really a fan, dude. I mean, you could do it. And there are some benchers that are significantly stronger than me. But in my opinion, twice a week is more than enough. And if you look at what some minimalists are doing, who are more on the higher frequency side, 3 to 4 times a week, so every other day for the most part, you auto-regulate it 48, 72 hours. Every single day working up to a top single, I find it's an easy way to get overuse injuries in the shoulders. And a lot of guys actually do get snapped up with programs like that for the bench press specifically. Squats, you can maneuver a lot more. And in general, there's many lower body exercises that are less stressful. But if you're benching somewhere in the 300s, bro, your shoulders are going to feel like garbage, if you ask me. It's not the same thing. I think a more bro approach of just hypertrophy training, once or twice a week, you pound it, destroy your freaking chest muscles, that's going to do a lot more for you. And I exclusively bench twice a week, just to say, and I'm one of the few guys that got a 4 or 5 bench at 185 on this platform, natty, lifetime. So you can listen to some weaker guys that are doing this, or those who are a bit stronger. Though that kind of contradicts what I just said, because you can have some Bulgarian-like guys that surpass me, but whatever, I digress. I think that this high frequency stuff, like extremely high frequency, is overrated for most people. You don't need it, okay? All right, Galdi. Hey, Alex, how long do you use minoxidil on your beard for? 14 months, bro. And it was 100% worth it. If I can go back in time, I'd do it all over again. And I even wonder now, as I'm getting older, right? Would I be able to get more gains if I went back on minoxidil? Because these are all natty gains for the most part. When I was on Minox, I didn't have the connectors. They never filled in. And even my soul patch over here didn't fill in the middle. My neck hair was lacking. Even the density overall. Things have improved beyond the original journey. So if I went back, could I add more? I don't think so for here, but maybe for the whole density of the beard, possibly. Should I stop dips because of sternum pain? In my opinion, yes. There's probably an anthropometry issue with you. Of course, you can try to maximize your mobility as much as possible. You know, hanging off a pull-up bar, opening yourself up with bands, even doing high rep connective tissue work. So you get those flies in, right? Or just doing flies in general. Maybe you can open yourself up, get to the point where dips don't cause you pain. But if it's an anthropometry issue, there's nothing that's going to fix it. You're just going to get snapped up eventually. And we have seen this in the comment sections over the years. So if you're not built to dip, just don't do it, man. Forget about it. All right. What is the max body fat you can stay at while still being aesthetic for novice, intermediate, advanced, and elite levels of muscle development? That depends on your overall fat distribution, what you deem to be aesthetic, and how novice or elite you are depending on the muscle. So as a general rule, I would say no more than 25% body fat. But that's probably if you're really jacked already. If you're a novice lifter at 25%, you're going to look like absolute garbage. So in that case, you're going to have to cap it to like 20% tops. Maybe even 18 is better, just to say. If you're advanced, you're going to be somewhere in the middle between 20 and 25. If you're elite, some would even argue that you can creep it up to 30 because you're just going to look bigger overall. You know, and we see this in some bloat maxers who are in the mid 200s, assuming like a little bit above average height, and they look pretty good. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't even obsess about this number to begin with. Does it really matter at the end of the day? Like some people quoted me at 23% body fat when I was bear mode. That's possible. Doesn't matter though. I was still able to see somewhat of the outline of my abs. Some definition was present. Like basically, I have never lost my six pack ever. No matter how fat I've gotten, it's always there. So does it matter if the number is plus 20? Maybe from a health perspective, yes, but for aesthetics, again, what do you find to be the ideal look? You're probably not going to be veiny, but you might have some definition. So overall, if you get more muscular, maybe you can creep up those percentage points by a little bit, but not to a significant extent. And even then, it probably doesn't matter to begin with. How you doing, brother? What's your opinion on Jay Vincent's one set time under tension to build strength? He says all you need is one set. Not familiar with this individual, but what he's describing is high-intensity training popularized by Mike Mentzer. So that's an old-school philosophy that's been around for a very long time, and many people have actually built great physiques with that approach. I know Mr. America Hart is big on that, and he has a great channel and a lot of lifting wisdom to offer. That said, is it optimal? I think that modern exercise science would disagree. It doesn't mean you need excessive volume, but it's pretty clear by looking at the evidence that 10 to 20 sets a week, while actually leaving reps in reserve, is just fine. Because what happens when you go to all-out failure is, sure, you're creating a large stimulus. Absolutely, no one can deny that, but it comes at the cost of additional disproportionate fatigue. So the difference between an RPE 10 versus an RPE 8 is actually not that different if we're talking about growing and getting stronger. The only thing is, if you go to that RPE 10, it's going to take longer to recover for your next session. And you might actually exceed your recovery capabilities in some cases, depending what you did in the overall system. And that's exactly why, by the way, these systems have you doing one set. Because they already figured out that doing too much of it is going to bury you to the ground. So you're going to have to lower your frequency and the overall volume of your program if you're going all out like that. So does it work? Yes. Do I recommend it? I think the best way is to creep up the volume a little bit. A classic 3 sets of 10, just to say, and leave 1 to 3 reps in reserve. That'll do a lot more for you than this old school type of training, in my opinion. All right, Patrick Warensky. Do you do muscle-ups on a weekly basis or not? My man, I can do about 50 muscle-ups. 1-5, not 5-0. And I would say that it's probably the most overrated exercise in calisthenics history. I rarely program them. I rarely do them. And even though, like, a lot of people want it, there's better ways to build your muscles. I would argue that weighted pull-ups are far superior, or just doing extreme variations of the pull-up for building your back. Like sternum pull-ups with isometric holds at the top. Full range of motion. That's just my opinion. But I think if you look at some other elite calisthenics guys, they'll say the same thing. So are you trying to just get better muscle-ups, or do you want to get buff and stronger? Even, like, you can use it for explosive development training as well, like dynamic effort. 8 sets of 3, using accommodating resistance. That's a good Oli weightlifting substitute. But for most of you watching this video who have physique and general strength goals, that's not going to be a lift for you, if you ask me. And it has a higher risk of injury as well for the shoulders, if you're using that twisting form. And most people don't even do it right anyway. They kip like crazy. Are we getting some ring workouts in the future? Well, I could do 100% ring, but for me, it's always been in addition to what I do. So rings are not the only modality by which I get buff. I do weight training, regular weighted calisthenics, whether it be on the floor, on bars, whatever, and then I mix in the rings for additional variations. It's basically my cable substitute. Or if I want to emphasize certain parts that the free weights can't give me. Like if I want to fully adduct my humerus, I'm going to do ring flies just to say. And I might wear a weight vest as well. All right. 24 Swiffer. Appreciate you, man. Hey Alex, could you look at my bench press form? I just uploaded a video on YouTube. I'm pressing 275, but I still feel kind of weak because I weigh about 225 in the video. Thank you. Love your channel. Sure, I could check that out. Maybe I can even put you live here too. I see you right here. I just don't want to mess up the live stream itself, but we could try this out. Let's try it. Let's freaking try it. Okay. Let's put you on blast, bro. You guys can see this? You're good, right? Okay. So first of all, I notice you're getting tight without bringing your head off the bench. You just have your feet up like that. And you're taking a long time as well. Oh, okay, now you're going for that arch. Good. Ass is off the bench a bit. Good. That helps for the unrack. Nice tuck. Good pause. Nice elbow flare. Your form looks good to me. The only thing I would say, bro, actually that looked very smooth, is when you start getting tight, I notice you're in the same position, right? What I recommend is getting your head off the bench and then getting that position. And when you have your ass up right here, push your legs into the ground. Like drive your legs so that you're more tight in your upper back. So basically you just need a bit more leg drive and to optimize your mechanics a bit more. So start with your head off the bench, get at the edge, and then ass off, flex your legs diagonally, and that'll make you a lot more tight when you're benching. But everything else looks good to me. You guys all saw that? You're good? And you heard my explanation, right? Fantastic. So I hope that helps you out, bro. Yo, Scott Herman. What's up, man? I'm happy to see you here. And I'd love to collaborate with you. Both in person, when the world is somewhat back to normal, and maybe even doing another interview on my channel. Trying to get some real natties on my show, you know? And you've been representing for years, so I appreciate you and much love as always. But yeah, 24 Swiffer, good job, man. That looked really good. Okay. Oh, and when I was doing the And Sup, how's Canada, bro? Canada's something else, bro. I don't even know where to start. But we probably have similar views on things, man. You were able to see the mouse as well, right? When I was showing you guys the form. Just want to confirm. All right. MR Marcardisen. Bro, thanks for the good vibes and teaching us to put in the work and not care about genetics. It has helped me a lot, man, getting on my own head. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And I'm happy that you're not even thinking about your damn genetics anymore, because a lot of the times that's what happens. You overly obsess and it affects your workouts, your programming, because you're always thinking, well, my genetics. And it's just a waste of time because you can't fucking control it. I'm sorry. You're born with that, okay? What are you going to do? You're going to show up to your parents, scream in their face, so you curse me? Man, you should be alive that you are here on this planet, able to thrive, and you have access to YouTube fitness and the best resources ever. Bro, when I got started in this game, 2009, there was nothing. It was garbage. The worst of the worst advice. And I spent years making all kinds of mistakes. Imagine if AlphaDestiny right here was my twin bro, and I, was able to find him right now as a non-lifter. I would have saved so much time. So it's like, even if you're cursed genetically, the information will allow you to bypass a lot of garbage. And at the end of the day, you can't change what you're born with. So just stop stressing. And for you, man, I'm happy that you're finally just putting in the work, staying dedicated to the process, and seeing what long-term consistency can really bring you. So good stuff, dude. And I'm really happy that guys like you are realizing this. All right, Ryuzaga. What do you think about wall pull-ups? Does grip strength affect it too much? What do you mean by wall pull-ups, bro? Are you talking about those implements that are like grooves where you're just using your fingertips? Kind of what rock climbers do? I don't know what you mean by that. I might have to look up wall pull-up. What the hell is that? Okay, I got a video here by, I'm going to put this on, by Hybrid Calisthenics. So what the hell is this wall pull-up? Oh, this. Oh. Okay. Well, I would say if you're obese or extremely weak, that might be a good variation for you. Otherwise, I can't say I'd really recommend it. A much better exercise is actually the rack chin. Yes, and you can probably do it as well. So that involves you having a bench kind of upright, and you grab a barbell and a rack or gymnastic rings. You have your feet up, like kind of like a V formation. So your legs are high, bro, and you're doing pull-ups with your body basically suspended, like it's anchored. You know what I'm saying? Those will give you much better carryover, and they should still be easy enough to perform, as well as just doing your inverted rows and your basic negatives and banded pull-ups. I'd rather you build the specific movement pattern than doing a wall pull-up, because that, like, you're not even vertical when you're doing that. I would say an inverted row is far superior if you're going to talk about pulling here, just to say. But if you really are that weak, go right ahead, bro. All right. I had another question right here. Felony muscle interview. Thanks for the super chat. Possibly. Shiloh Lee. How would you prescribe for extreme hypermobility? I've gone to chiropractors and they say that my range of motion is dangerous. I'm 6'5" and can almost do a middle split without training. Love the great helping vids. Thanks. That's crazy, eh? So imagine this tall dude. You walk in the gym and he's just doing splits or really close to it. And he doesn't even train for it. Like, I'm short and I can't even do a split, just to say. And I've always been somewhat mobile, but that is a hard move to master if you ask me. Now, I do resonate with you on the point of hypermobility in the sense that I have this with my elbows. And I found that there's nothing you can do to stop the hypermobility from occurring. It's just not possible. I've tried. Your body will just do it because that is the full range of motion of your joints, right? So I say just embrace it. Get strong in those positions instead of avoiding it, because that's the most stable for you when you're doing that. Although some would consider that to be bad advice, depending on the exercise. So maybe, I just released a video on locking out, right? And how you should lock out. One of the exceptions that I didn't even consider talking about was the leg press. That's because of the weird angle and possible risk of hyperextension, right? But if you're already hypermobile, that's not really hyperextension to you, just to say. But you can still go beyond your actual hypermobility range as well. Now, all you have to do in this case, man, is try to think about changing your movement pattern, but know that you're not developing your end strength as much. Or you just go all in and get strong, man. Like, I have hypermobile elbows. You see me max out with bands, chains, the slingshot, things that literally cause my elbow. Okay, this is a normal person. Mine do this. Okay? I just broke my arm right now. This is you. This is the average person. This is me. Okay? Snapped the fuck up. Ah! It doesn't hurt. And you see me do that with over 400 pounds in my hands. So you can train those positions. Okay? And I'm sorry if I scared you guys with that movement. But yeah, that would be my advice on that. I hope something resonated with you, bro. Yeah, it's freaky, eh? That looks cool, lol. Yeah, it's a freaking curse because it makes my lockouts a lot more difficult. Alpha fucking Destiny, let's fucking go! One of the pillars of faithful, honest, and strong community. Thank you so much for being genuine and sticking to your true self. Well, thank you, my Spartan warrior. I appreciate your super chat, but most importantly, the awesome message that you wrote. I love the strong community that we built and just having badass people like you who, are cool. We got a cool audience over here. I freaking love it. Full of real people, and we're strong-headed overall and critical thinkers. I know I say this all the time, but I just can't express how grateful I am to each and every one of you. We built something legit. I never had to release fake-ass content or not be myself. I can just lay it on the line. This is how you get buff. These are the strategies, I talk about different elements of fitness, and you guys vibe with it, So when I started off, bro, I never thought I was going to get this far, but there's always an audience for somebody. And to me, it's about the quality connections. Not having, natural hypertrophy calls them normies. I don't want normies on my channel. I want real people that can think for themselves and actually question me when they have to as well. But hey, if I hit that point, my channel gets even bigger. Well, it is what it is, but eventually I can help change your ways, Alright. Magnus P. Thank you for the super chat. Hey Alex, is a 315 bench press for 5 reps a good goal to shoot for as a natural? I'm currently benching 200 pounds. Keep up the good work. Yeah, that's an excellent goal. And I think that's even better than shooting for 315 for a single. Because I've come to realize that a lot of you guys could do it to the point where there's a saying these days. 405 is the new 315 in terms of difficulty. Basically, 10 years ago, if you saw a guy doing 3 plates on the bench press, he was considered a freak of nature. But now it's like, you see average dudes on this platform hitting that with enough time of training. That said, 5 reps is a lot harder than 1. I hit that like a month ago after rebuilding from a shredded state. So it's a little bit up there. I would say maybe a triple is a slightly better goal and with a closer grip. 5 is hard. That's usually going to be at least a 350 bench, but probably higher in some cases. So for the average person, I'd probably drop the standard just a little bit. And not because of any limitation, but just because they're probably not going to grind it out for that long. And that's just me keeping it real on that part. It's not about, it's all the mental game at that point. And the programming that it takes too. Yo, 24 Swiffer again. Yo, thank you for watching my video. Been watching your stuff since the early days. Your tips helped me to get from a 185 bench to 315 touch and go. Much love. Yes. See, that is really cool to hear. Because you see subscribers in the comment section. It's like, yo, Alex, I'm benching 135, 185. What can I do to improve it? And you give them advice, either directly in that comment or in a Q&A video. And then years later, those same people come back, and now we got 24 Swiffer benching 3 plates. How freaking cool. Like, literally, I can copy paste this person's name, and you're gonna see 2-3 years ago the numbers they had. That is, like, it's freaky. It really is. So keep it up, man. Do you like fish sticks? Bro, South Park is probably my favorite cartoon show of all time. That's not anime. It's so freaking funny. It's my type of humor. Like, there's not many things that make me laugh. I have an extremely, like, high standard, you could say, for comedy. It's very, very difficult, you know? But with South Park, I always laugh my ass off. Every fucking time. It's just a godly level of humor. I can't. It's just too much. Home gym fundraiser. Alpha, if I can do 225 for 5 on Larsen press, how many reps should I be able to get on the regular bench? Well, that's going to be a basically a 10% or so difference, right? Now, when you're benching 225, that 10% will reflect differently if you're benching the 300s. So we can do a bit of math here. All right, just for fun, okay? Let's just do a little bit of fun math, okay? So 225 for 5. Keep in mind, these are inaccurate numbers. So that would equate to 253 1 rep max. So 253 times 0.10 is 25 pounds. So we're going to do 250 minus 25. So basically your Larsen, yeah. So there would be about a 25 pound difference. So if you can do 225 for 5 reps on the Larsen press, try 250 for 5 right off the bat. And I know that might sound crazy, but you just saw me do a, what do you call it? 250 for 3x10 on the Larsen press. And then, like a week later, I did 275. So that says a lot, right? It's the same movement pattern, just you're cutting out the leg drive. So I guess I thought it was going to be more different, but I guess it's not. It tends to be relatively similar for... you know, I guess that's why you pretty much got to be an intermediate or advanced lifter. Yeah, meathead math, damn right. One thing I got to be honest about, guys, is that math was always my worst subject in school. Well, one of my worst. Not that I haven't improved a lot. I understand it, but, you know. Pull up a calculator for everything, bro. All right. Wall pull-ups more in the sense of you hanging on a wall and kind of grinding yourself and doing pull-ups, like climbing it. Love your content. Yo, I appreciate you, man. You super chatted me twice. So you're hanging on the wall and kind of grinding yourself in it. I still don't understand. Like, how can you hang on a wall, bro? I don't... Like, where do you grip? There has to be something sticking out, like a rock climbing type of movement, you know? But even in that case, bro, the best way to get better at pull-ups is to practice very specific ranges of motion, you know? Having your arm fully up here and down there. If you're doing this weird type of climbing motion like that, on the specificity scale, that's not really high. So I think you should just, you know, simplify things a bit more. Yeah, AD like South Park. Hell yeah, man. Fucking love it. Funniest show of all time, if you ask me. All right. Shabadeep Singh. Best YouTube channel out there. Well, thank you, my man. I appreciate your super chat, and I'm glad that you find my channel to be the best, because there's a lot of them out there. So it's always an honor when people come in my comment section. They're like, Alex, your channel is my favorite, because there's a lot of good channels out there. And, you know, I don't even consider mine to be the best. It's up there, but there's some people who offer even more value. And I always look up to that as inspiration to be a better content creator and just give back to you. So, like, one of the reasons why I watch so many other fitness YouTubers is that I can't allow myself to stay stagnant. I need to be up to date on all the current evidence and just hear different people's perspectives. Otherwise, you end up being that older man who just refuses to change his ways. You become stubborn and limited in your knowledge. And I never wanted that to happen to me. And that's why I've contradicted myself over the years. Though I would rephrase it as not a contradiction, but just learning more and optimizing your information. So that's my general perspective on that. Have you heard of Leo and Longevity's channel? Yeah, I like his channel, man. He's a really smart guy, and it's interesting how he articulates his views on certain things. And he offers a lot of different perspectives on not only supplementation, but just longevity and analyzing different research papers. Definitely mess with his content. Really says something when you have 460 viewers, but the comments are so active. It's very cool to see. Yeah, man. It's we always got, usually when I do these live streams, we got between like 450 and 700 people. And then it's just comments, boom, 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 nonstop, you know? I love these Q&As. Tomorrow I have an exam, but I'm here. Bro, you better study. Though if my Q&A puts you in a good mood and you're ready to kick ass right after, fantastic. Sometimes, guys, you just got to take a little bit of a break from the books and find something that relaxes you, puts you in a chill type of mode, and then you're just ready to do whatever. Like, you know, when you have a good workout and, you know, maybe you hang out with your friends right after, or your girlfriend, or whatever. That experience is heightened. Likewise, if you had a garbage workout, or a bad day in general, or you flunked your exam, that carries over, right? So you got to do things that just uplift you, and then it just affects everything in your life. These videos are my breaks from intense studies, to be honest. Oh, damn. Yeah. Well, I'm happy this gives you a break, bro. I'll do that too sometimes. You know, when I'm writing my scripts for certain videos, I'll watch some other guys as well, you know. And actually, sometimes you watch someone, the light bulb clicks, and those ideas that were like stuck in your brain that you couldn't quite grasp, it all makes sense at that point, when you least expect it. And usually when I'm having a hard time studying per se, which I don't do formally, I read my own books that I care about, I'll just rest, bro. Like, I'll go to bed and I'll read the next day and I'm good, you know? Sometimes you don't have to force it. All right, we got the homie right here, Shiloh Lee. Hey, Alex, thanks so much for the great help. I gotta go, but have a great rest of your day, everyone. Cheers. Well, cheers to you too, Shiloh. Thank you for the super chat, and I hope you also have a great day. And it's always an honor to be helpful. And if you have more questions moving forward, ask away, man. I'm here for you. All right. Demolitionist 42. Thank you. How long do you think it'll take me to get a one-plate overhead press? I just reached 120 for 2 after a long time. Progress is slow AF on this lift for me. Yeah, that's very normal when talking about the overhead press. It can take months to add like 10 pounds to that lift. That's why when some people say that they added 10, 20 pounds in a short amount of time, they should be ecstatic, not mad that they had slow progress, because it's not slow at all. Now, you're at 120. You're very close to 135. The thing is, though, you're right on that edge where you're basically an intermediate lifter. And this is where things actually do hit that point where it's slow. So I don't know how long it took you to get to 120. Let's say it was 8 months. Maybe now it's going to take you 4 months just to add that remainder. Crazy, right? But it's not an exaggeration when I say it gets slower. Plus, you hit it for a double, not 5 reps. That means you got to drop it down even further. So it is going to take a little bit of time to rebuild. So I would say realistically probably about 4 months. Minimum 3. Let's see here. Scooby told me to study physio. I'm going to make it. That's cool, man. I have a friend who became a physiotherapist later in life, and he absolutely loves it. Let's see here. I had a good comment, but I lost it because it's so boom, 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 you know? Got some green hearts. That's interesting. Mohammed Udin. Home gym, super curl bar, or adjustable dumbbell, big arms? I would go with the adjustable dumbbells for the simple reason that you can curl on a regular barbell. Like, I wish I had those damn Newell bells, man. I might get them. I do have the Bells of Steel loadable handles. But in order for me to hit the weights I want, I would have to buy more smaller plates. And specifically the like 10s. I'd have to buy a lot of 10s to get the job done. Whereas something like quick adjustable dumbbells, sure, they cap at 80 pounds. But that's more than enough for curls and even some isolation movements like dumbbell flies and stuff like that. So if you have the option between that and a super curl bar, hands down, the dumbbells. But what I would ask is, if you can afford those adjustable dumbbells, what's a super curl bar, bro? It's going to run you like $100 for the most part? That's nothing. So if you're willing to spend $650, put in the extra 100. Like, who cares? Just do it. It doesn't take up a lot of space either. Alexandri Ronco. You talk a lot about how the neck grows fast, but what about later on? Does it still grow after like 2 years? Like any muscle group, progress does slow down after a certain point. So when I talk about the gains being fast, it mostly refers to that 1 to 2 year time frame. After that, it's normal for the most part, but still a pretty good pace compared to other muscles like biceps, because the loading potential of your neck is a lot higher. So I always give this example, but Mike the Machine Bruce did a 300-pound neck extension for 2 reps. Are you ever going to see someone doing a 300-pound barbell curl as a natty? No. So just off that, we know that your neck can be loaded very heavily. So let's say you got to a 90-pound neck extension in your first 2 years. Well, maybe now you can build up to 135, then 185, and so on. If you even want to go down that path, because the thing is, you don't have to. So basically what I'm saying is the neck progresses so well that you're probably not going to hit that point where you want to slow things down because you're already content with your gains. That's why it's just smooth sailing all the way through, provided you're hitting all the angles. Looking yoked, bro. Thank you, bro. You know what's been helping my yoke, actually? The safety squat bar. Yeah. I flip it upside down. This way the camber is like forcing me even more forward. And that pull on your upper back that you have to stabilize is insane. So I feel like my upper back is looking insane right now. Like, you know, it's look at this freaking yoke action. You know, I feel like it's just looking really thick overall. So I'm happy. Yeah, that was a horrible angle. Whatever. You look Eastern European. Yeah, I'm 50-50 Greek and Italian, bro. SSB is overpowered, bro. It's insane. I prefer it over the straight bar, honestly. especially if you're doing a lot of bench training. You don't think about it, but when you have your arms out like that on a straight bar, that puts pressure on the infraspinatus. Have you? Yeah, I did. You want that penne rigate, of course, bro. Pasta's my carb of choice, you know? In the online fitness community, everybody talks about white rice. Why not pasta? I find it's easier to get down crazier amounts. Have like a pack of pasta is about 450, 500 grams, right? But like 1,800 calories. You put a sauce as well, you're well over 2,000 if you have it all in one sitting. And even if you do half of that, like, you're good. So then you add in extra stuff too. Protein sources mixed in. Bro. Tagliatelle, yeah. I find it's just a great mass building food. Honestly. But I like rice too, obviously. Red lentil and chickpea pasta, get your carbs and grip of protein. Yeah, bro. I like the lentil pasta more. I find the chickpea pasta develops like this weird film. You see it when you're boiling it. It's like a thick effect. Now you can obviously drain it, but I'm not that crazy about it, bro. I like the red lentil, the green lentil, and even the soybean pasta. That's good too. Whole wheat hands down. Yeah, I much prefer that. Oh, and the black bean lentil pasta is something else, let me tell you. Only just jumped in. How's the bulk going? Calories right now, weight 170 pounds. I think I'm looking freaking swole. My clothes fit me again. You know, I'm feeling strong. In terms of calories, I don't count. But based off my portions, it's probably somewhere in the high 3,000s, maybe even 4,000s. I don't know. I know it's a minimum of 3K, realistically. So probably somewhere in the middle, like 3,500 about. That's just to keep me like maintenance or a super tiny surplus. I don't really know the exact amounts. I don't care so much right now. That's aquafaba from the chickpeas, by the way. Yeah, that's it. Hey, you Canadian. What do you think of Canada going to World Cup? Crazy, I thought you were all into hockey and the vegan diet. Well, that's awesome. But I'm not really a sports guy in terms of watching television for that. The only sport I watch is UFC. It's the only one that really interests me. Hockey's great, you know. If it's a really big match like the finals, then I'll do it. Or if it's a life-changing game that can affect everything, great. You know, and I pretty much exclusively watch the Montreal Canadiens because that's where I'm from, and you know that's where the culture's at over here. So I think it's awesome that Canada's going to the World Cup because that's freaking, you know, we're not known for that here, World Cup. And the vegan diet is, well, I'm into it for the health purposes. So yeah, but I don't see how that relates to that part. Will you ever join the dark side and become enhanced? Hell no, bro. I'm not interested. I don't want to go down that path. Like, I just don't want to, including TRT. If I can avoid that, fucking great. I'd rather not get on it. I trust my testes. They work great. I got the energy. I'm still making muscle gains after all these years. And you know what? If your T levels do drop a little bit, but you're still making progress, what's the big deal? The only thing that'll make me consider that is if I actually need it. Like for legit medical reasons, my numbers are so low that they're unsalvageable. They're to the point where I'm literally depressed out of my mind. I have no sex drive. Like, if I'm wrecked to the max, like I'm literally living like a zombie, there's nothing going on that's right in my life because, like, I'm just crashed to nothing. I'm like a 90-year-old male. Then sure, I'll consider TRT. But if I'm still like doing good or just a little bit less than peak status, I don't need to get on that shit. And just roids in general, to me, it's not all your gains, bro. And the moment you get off, you're going to lose it. So why would I even consider that? Like, honestly, if I can train for the next 15 years, that's where I'm going to hit my peak. Maybe I'll be benching like 500 pounds by then. Like, I'm good. And I don't need those types of physiques to feel confident and, like, not only aesthetically, but about my numbers. Like, already some guys can't lift what I lift. So, I'm not interested. I don't want to go down that path. And that's what some people don't understand in this industry. Some people do not want to become enhanced. It just doesn't. People ask me, does taking steroids ever cross your mind? No, it fucking doesn't. I don't want to get on that shit. And I wish that they never existed. I think the world would be a much better place right now. And we'd have actual comparisons. So, I'm kind of an elitist in this regard. But, what do you want me to say, man? I don't want to get on that. Like, not even to try it. Not even the smallest amounts. I'm not doing it. Alex, my super chat got lost. I'm going to control F you. Let's see. Yeah, there's two of them. Wait, where is it, though? Yeah, can you repost it, bro? I'm going to control F you, okay? Because I don't see it. I'm scrolling up, I don't see it. I got the homie David right here. Could you explain concurrent periodization? Is ramping up to a single and then rotating the main movement and accessory work, all there is to it? So it's basically a system that has different days that emphasize different performance elements. So you're mixing in your volume and intensity stuff in the same week. And then you rotate movements when you stall or to minimize overuse injuries. In this way, you don't have to change your percentages that much, to be honest. You might include some waving within the system itself. So like if I reference the classic conjugate system or West Side type programming for upper body, right? Monday can be a max effort day, and then Thursday is a dynamic effort day. On the max effort, you hit a top single on a random exercise. Then you do your back down work and all your accessories to build the muscles and the weak links. Next week, you do the same thing, but you change your movement. So that's how you're periodizing it for the intensity element. You're not waving the percentages. Like 1 week, I'm going to do singles and triples and fives, or some other common approaches, like gradually lowering your volume but increasing intensity. That part has remained year-round. All you do is change your movement, okay? Then for dynamic effort, it's going to be wave periodization or step loading or whatever you feel like doing if you want to add in a second feature of periodization. So usually, like with dynamic effort, it's going to be week 1, 50%, week 2, 55%, then week 3, 60%. And then week 4, you change your variation and you go back to those percentages and you just keep repeating the process. So rather than going through these blocks, like I'm going through this phase and that phase, hypertrophy and max strength is developed simultaneously. And we do that not by doing this to the volume and intensity. It's just some elements of periodization are mixed in. And we avoid the law of accommodation through exercise rotation. So if you want more information on that, like check out my book, Naturally Enhanced. I think it simplifies it a little bit more, but it's a very simple way to work out. Just think of it like you're training multiple elements at the same time. All right. Joseph, working out for years, still novice. You think starting strength is too simple, or is your program better? Want to build base and also hypertrophy? Thank you. Yeah, my program is better. Starting strength has novices doing power cleans. And if you're interested in hypertrophy, I don't see why you would do those, to be honest with you. And just rows are a better tool, especially for building base strength. And in general, the program is more rigid. You're just doing 3x5s. It's more minimalist. You're going to have lagging arms at the end of it. Do mine or any other system that has a bit more of a maximized setup. You don't want to do 0 accessories if you're a novice. Sure, build your base with the basics, but that doesn't mean that we live by that exclusively. That reductionist way of working out is what caused a lot of people to have muscular imbalances in the long term. And I've seen it time and time again over the years passed by. It's called the spider physique. That's what natural hypertrophy coined it. All right. Yo, Kirsten Ramsumer, repost your question, please, so I can help you out. Jose, wait a second, there was another super chat. It's crazy. The moment I'm done answering a question, another super chat comes in, but then the freaking, I lose it because they don't give you enough time. It's like, I want to answer everyone. All right. I got you right here, bro. Jose Luis Medina Vasquez. Is it realistic to get a stronger bench press, squat, deadlift, and weighted calisthenics at the same time, or do you recommend focusing on each one at different times? It is realistic to develop all of them simultaneously. Look at Mechanimal. I think he's a perfect example of what's possible. Now, he doesn't specialize in the bench, but I'm sure if he included it, it wouldn't make much of a big difference. So, squat and deadlift, that has no relation whatsoever to weighted calisthenics. So, just off that, you can have your own day and it's a wrap, okay? Now, for the bench press, weighted calisthenics is often used as a supplemental way of raising it. Lots of powerlifters are prescribing weighted dips these days just to say. And in my opinion, things like weighted push-ups are even better. So if you start off a workout with heavy bench press, then you back it down to, say, doing Larsen pressing or a dumbbell bench, then your third movement is a dip or a push-up, that's going to be freaking fantastic. You're not only going to get way bigger and minimize overuse injuries, since we're not only doing barbell work, but you'll get better at weighted calisthenics. And then for the back, weighted pull-ups will help your deadlift. Years ago, I didn't think this was true until I saw Kayla Willem talking about it. And then after I went pretty much specialization mode on pull-ups and started training my legs somewhat again, the strength went whoop, and my grip strength problems were completely eradicated. So those two are going to help your deadlift. You know, it's not just about the glutes, hamstrings, and spinal erectors. Your forearms, your upper back, your lats, all that contributes, bro. So you can absolutely build all that in the same program. Not a problem. And it's pretty much what I'm doing, to be honest with you. Home slice. Pull-ups is primary movement. I can do one and want improvement. Of course, dude. Like I just answered with this question, you can use pull-ups as a competition movement. And there is a sport called street lifting that is exactly that. It's the weighted pull-up or weighted chin for one or max, weighted dip, and then barbell back squat. This way we're covering, it's basically like squat bench dead, but we're covering all the elements of upper body and lower body. Actually, it's more upper body intensive. So it's kind of the flip side of powerlifting in that respect. So you can do one and want to improve. Well, you're definitely going to want to specialize in this case. There's a lot to cover for a simple question like this, but you need to watch those basic pull-up tutorial videos and get some base strength established, you know. Get to doing at least 5 to 10 reps, and then we could talk about using more advanced strategies. But right now, it's not going to take much to have improvements, and even using things like greasing the groove. But yeah, if you want to feature pull-ups instead of lat pull-downs or any other back movement, yeah, you can do that, absolutely. That's what I do, man. All right, Hamza. Not working out, but I just found my ex moved on from our RS in only a month. Feeling like shit right now and can't work out because of surgery. Advice. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, is this surgery preventing you from working out at all? Where did you get this surgery exactly? Is it only in your upper body or lower body? What are you able to do is the question. Because you'll often hear guys saying, well, I destroyed my knees or my lower back, and therefore I can't train legs. But is that really true? Or are there some movements that don't cause pain whatsoever? Because if I look at Louis Simmons, for example, I believe he broke his back 3 times, and he restored it with one exercise, the reverse hyperextension. Out of every exercise in the gym that you could possibly do, that was the only one that didn't cause pain. So I don't know what injury you have, man. But Is there something that you could do? Can you do a freaking leg curl? Can you do a calf raise? Can you drag a sled even? Maybe your training is not going to be optimal at all. It's probably going to be garbage training, to be honest with you. But movement is medicine. And if that allows you to get in a better state of mind, because you're getting that endorphins release, among other things too. Actually, there's new research emerging on that. That's going to be beneficial. So you got to change your mindset by getting better at the little stuff. That all adds up. And then for upper body, because I just gave you examples for the lower, like you can use machines. You can even not even use your arms. Some people have broken arms and they still find ways of training by using like their elbows to press on certain movements, or they do flies like this, you know, or bands. What can you do is the question. Like, can you really do nothing at all? Are you just in bed? I don't know, bro. And that's going to get your mind off your life events as well, because that takes a big burden off you. So, you know, if I had a bit more information, I can get more specific. But right now, I'm just generalizing. But I hope something in here helped you out. Just focus on yourself, bro. Self-improvement. All right. David Al. How would you program a grip form routine? How many exercises, days, etc.? Once or twice a week. I would just do it at the end of your program. It's not a... Like, first of all, how important is grip for you? Are you a grip specialist? Do you compete in a sport where it's pretty much all grip? Like a grip sport? Or you're an arm wrestler who really has to focus on it? Or are you just someone who wants bigger forearms and maybe your grip is a little bit lagging, but not by a significant amount? In that case, it's 1 or 2 exercises tops at the end of your program. If you check out my grip training guide, I do show you some movements, but anything with a fat bar, your pinch work with plates, a hex dumbbell, hanging off a pull-up bar with weights, double overhand deadlifts. Like, it's a very vague question, bro. I can name you all kinds of stuff, but it's very easy to train your grip. Most of your grip is going to come from the compound movements anyway. Your weighted pull-ups, your deadlifts, your rows too. Even when you're strapping up, the work leading up to that point still builds you up. You know, and it's not going to take a tremendous amount of isolation work to improve here. This guy's like, you have to grieve to be able to move on, bro. Everybody's got a different perspective on this, but in your darkest times, that's when you have to honestly say fuck this shit and just pick yourself up and embrace the pain for what it is and get your ass moving again. Even though you feel bad, you gotta suffer. You gotta embrace the suffering. That's how you're really gonna grow, if you ask me. In my opinion. You know, when you're... Don't just let the misery consume you. Do something about it. Yeah, this guy said grieve while moving on. Exactly, bro. You can still do both. You can still feel things while you're living your life and whatnot. You don't allow it to stop you from achieving your goals and doing what you want to do. Darkness is once a foe, but now it's a dear friend. Yep. Alright. Eternal Infernal. How many sets per body parts on a full body program 3 times a week versus 2 times a week? Numbers are all late, advanced, and elite. Getting ready for powerlifting meet. Awesome, man. So, there's no difference in terms of net weekly volume. So, if you're doing 15 sets a week for your bench press, you would split it up evenly across those 3 days. That's probably the simplest way you could possibly do it. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 sets, 5 sets, 5 sets. Done. Whereas if you're doing twice a week, you're going to have to basically go more than 5 sets. But there's zero difference at the end of the week. Like, none at all. So, how many sets per body part? That's the real question to ask. Not if it differs between 3 and 2 times a week. Because math is math. And for that, I always give back the very simple answer of 10 to 20 sets a week per body part. Though, for bench press specialization, you probably don't need to go all the way up to 20. So, to reference myself as an example, I do max effort bench press on Monday. So I work up to 3 top singles, but because there's not a lot of workload in there, you can say it's like half the sets. So let's say it's 1.5 sets for chest, right? The second movement is going to be back down work, usually a 3x10. And then the third exercise is usually not going to be a horizontal press. It could be a hybrid, like an incline bench or an overhead press or something like that. So let's say, like you can see, that's not a lot of volume, right? Thursday, I'll do the exact same setup, but without the max effort. And maybe, sorry, it's not the exact same setup. Instead of OHB, I'll do something like a push-up. So that ramps up my volume a little bit higher. And when you math that out, like, it's really not a crazy amount of volume. It's not. It's certainly not 20, I can tell you that much. But this is exactly what's giving me the best gains for, hitting a 4 or 5 bench. So it doesn't have to be like exactly the same every single session or perfectly equal. It's just the net sets at the end of the week, if you're in that ballpark range of 10 to 20. So I hope that was helpful. Rogelio Avila. Have you ever used Ashwaganda? Yes. I own Ashwaganda. It tastes freaking horrific because I don't have the capsules. I have the powder. And I don't know if it's given me any benefits, to be honest. It's an adaptogenic herb. Some studies say it could raise your testosterone or it calibrates your mood a little bit better. I don't know if that's been the case. All I could say is that every time I take it, I get vivid nightmares. Like, I get these crazy freaking dreams. And, yeah, that's all I could really note about that. So it's probably doing something, but I don't know what that is long term. So, yeah, it's probably worth it. I don't know. Home Slice, thoughts on bald Omni-Man programs? Yeah, they're freaking good, man. Well thought out. Excellent for long-term strength gains. Good blend of movement variability, volume, reps in reserve. Like, all the fundamentals are in those programs. And you can tell that Paris did a lot of work on these and a lot of research in the long term. Like, this is his passion. He loves strength and conditioning. And he even says in his videos, he wants to be one of the best SNC sources on YouTube. So obviously, if he's making bold claims like that, it's got to be reflected in the way he programs. And he's a really strong guy. A lot of testimonials are coming in for the guys following his work. And I take his advice very seriously, because everything that he said has applied to me and been effective over the years, even without me knowing his content beforehand. It just turns out that he's usually right about most of these things. So I wouldn't doubt his programming for a second. You missed a super chat. I'm sorry, dude. I don't see it though, man. I don't freaking see it. Oh, you reposted it. Okay. Any tips on getting to a 315 squat? I do weighted calisthenics and been neglecting legs. Do you think linear periodization would be good enough to reach it? Yeah. First of all, weighted calisthenics is not going to get you to that three-plate squat for the most part. Even things like weighted pistol squats are not as specific. I don't recommend going down that path for the biggest barbell back squat, okay? So I recommend you just run a full-on powerlifting program if you want it. Now, linear periodization, it's not my preferred way of training, but for getting a three-plate squat, it should be more than enough, because that's not a crazy high number to begin with. And I don't see you taking a tremendous amount of time getting there either, just to say. So, I'm obviously biased towards concurrent conjugate programming, but it would be an absolute lie to state that linear is not effective. In fact, some would argue it's more effective. We're talking about short-term gains. For me, I just like the fact that concurrent allows you to get strong at everything year round, which is especially useful as someone who cares about general strength and maximizing hypertrophy. Like, I'm not a competitive powerlifter, and it's enjoyable. You always got variety. You're always going like this. It's slow, steady, and most importantly, it keeps you in the game long term. The less minimalist you are, the less you'll be hurting. And that's what we see with guys like Matt Wenning. So, hey, if you want to go linear, minimalist, freaking do it, man. You're going to be fine getting 3 plates, even beyond, man. 500-pound squat, like all that could be done on linear periodization, for sure. Okay. Thibault Bailey, what do you think of Doug Brignole's methods? Good for bodybuilding? A lot of it is good for bodybuilding, but I wouldn't exclusively live in the world of physics because some practices have been proven to be extremely effective, and we can't just denounce that when people rarely fail with such approaches, just to say. Like, I think we need to focus more on the basics. And of course, you can throw in some of these biomechanics principles, but that you would only do, say, isolation movements, for example, on some exercises. I don't think that's a good idea. That you would only do sissy squats instead of a ball back squat. I think it's better if you mix in both. I would finish off your workout with a sissy squat, but I wouldn't prefer that over a belt squat or a safety bar squat. And then for athletes, you're obviously going to need some compound movements that are a bit different. So, look, man, I think there's a lot to offer there. If you read his book and you watch the videos on the channel, lots of great content for sure. But there's some things that we just know get absolutely psychotic, mind-blowing, amazing results without getting injured either. Because that whole point about you can get snapped up on certain stuff, I think that's also overplayed. And the evidence doesn't seem to be suggesting that either. Oh, and also some of his, what do you call it? What's the fucking word I'm looking for? Breakdowns are incorrect. And if you look at N1 Education, I think that's probably the best source for biomechanics information. So that's probably what I would lean into the most, if we're talking about looking at one dude who really specializes in that. Coach Kasim is the man. And I would love to get him on the freaking channel. That would be, like, amazing. Gal Zusman. Well, thank you for the super chat. You didn't ask me a question. Golly, it must be easy for Mr. AlphaDestiny to get girls. Well, I'm in a long-term relationship, bro. So I'm not trying to get girls right now. But for some people it's easy, some it's not. I would say it's easier when you have status and a good-looking physique. Obviously, I'm balding and I'm a shorter guy. But I've been fine. So if that makes you insecure, then I don't know what to tell you, bro. That's your problem that you got to deal with. Have you seen any of K Boges' content? Yeah, bro. I've seen like 5 of his videos. One was on the horse stance. Another one was a movement on like weighted ring pull-ups, I think. It's pretty good from what I've seen so far. I don't have a problem with his content. But I'm not familiar with most of his work. I gotta look into it a lot more. Yeah, cheers, bro. People need to stop projecting insecurity onto Alex on this channel, man. It's always projection. That's why I can't get mad at any of these people. Like, I'm so desensitized. Not only in terms of, like, I've seen thousands of stupid comments over the years, but nothing happens in my brain that's like, oh, I'm mad or whatever when I read these comments. It's more like, what are you doing, bro? There's something wrong with you. And I wish I could help you out because Anyone who has something negative to say, it's because there's something negative going on in their head. It's what it is. Someone who's about stuff, who's doing real things, they don't have time to talk shit like that or make sarcastic, stupid remarks. It's because they're going through a struggle of some kind. And for that, I mean, I empathize, I guess. I don't know. Do I empathize? It's like, get your shit together. That's all I'm going to say. All right. How often do you vary your exercises and how often do you completely change your program? Great question, man. And thank you for the super chat. So for the max effort movements, it's every single week without exception. Not doing this would be a great mistake. So the other day I got a guy asking me, Alex, why did you bench press with 90 pounds of chains when you could have just added a plate more on each side? The reason is that I'm trying to develop the skill of maxing. I'm not trying to test my competition lift. And for me to do a 1 rep max comp bench would actually be ego lifting in the context of using the max effort method year round. That would increase the risk of injury, lead to psychological burnout, especially if you don't PR, and is a complete waste of time if you're not trying to peak. If I want to really hyper specialize on the bench, I'm going to take a few weeks to get more specific with the movements. I might drop my volume back, some accessories. That is why we peak. So this is where 1 rep maxing gets a bad rep. But just to say, every single week, different variation. Go on my Instagram. It's all there. The proof is documented. Now for the accessories, it can be a few different approaches, okay? So back in the day, I would rotate every single week because I was following the logic of max effort training, right? But I realized this was false. So my secondary stuff, I can milk for some weeks, you know? But I don't let it exceed about 4 to 6 weeks. And the reason is that I keep my volume and intensity high throughout the yearly training cycle. And my reps in reserve are naturally a little bit on the higher side. But as I go through the progression, it'll start to get closer to 0. So my method is basically double progression. And when I peak out the double progression, that's when I rotate the movement and go back to a lower RPE. So let's say 4 to 6. I would say 4 to 6 weeks for my assistance work, but for max effort, it's every week. Or it's whenever the hell I feel like it. If I just want to change it, I can do that because it doesn't matter. Or if I'm like really stalling on something. Big fan of the content. You see a gorilla. Yeah, I like gorillas, man. Will you ever compete in powerlifting? Maybe, man. But I'm not a powerlifter, and I don't really care about powerlifting. I know that shocks some people because I'm really into strength, but general strength is my thing. Why do you think I do it all, man? Like if you go on my about page on my site, it's not squat, bench, dead, or my total. I'll tell you exactly what you see when you go on there. It's outalpha.com/about. I'll show you guys. Okay? Check it out. So first of all, I value aesthetics. I think it's important to look freaking good. All right? I'm not one of these dudes who's going to deny that and say, no, I'm only care about strength. Hell no, bro. Look at this. Does this look like I'm a powerlifter to you? You know? The 405 bench is the most notable one, obviously, but 2-plate OHB. Some of them don't even do that. 230 weighted dip. This I got to update. I got 4 plates in the weighted pull-up. Trap bar dead. Hack dead. 225, 28 reps. 1 finger pull-up. 1 arm pull-up. Front lever. Close grip bench. That's... Actually, this isn't even enough compared to everything that I do on my regular workouts and stuff like that. And Instagram, you know? But just to say, I don't care about powerlifting, bro. I just... It's not for me, you know? I could compete if I want. I'd probably do well, to be honest with you. But I would rather step on a bodybuilding stage than do a full power meet, to be honest. However, the only major fucking con with this one is that I'd be competing with fake natties. There's a much greater chance. Whereas powerlifting, yeah, drug testing doesn't work, but at least I got more of a chance, Whereas if I'm stepping next to a guy who's on all kinds of shit, sauce to the max, I don't stand a chance. It's impossible. He's going to destroy me. So that's what I hate about competitive bodybuilding. And powerlifting, there's a lot more natties in there, so that's awesome. But just the sport itself, as an absolute, like, I respect it, but it's not me, The spam is real. That's not spam, guys. All right, David Al. About the forearms and grips, my goal is to add size to the forearms. Also, is there any exercise to add meat to the wrists and hands? Love your work, by the way. Keep it up, man. So, could you increase your wrist size and hand? Some people have argued that it's possible through like years of arm wrestling training. I don't know if that's true or not. It's probably not, to be honest. What I think is more likely is that your forearm gets so freaking jacked that it starts to creep up a little bit, and your wrist measurement may appear bigger, or it's you measuring lower than your actual wrist bone. It's like when guys say, oh, my neck is like 20 inches, and they're measuring down here where their traps got visibly bigger. So if you're normally wrapped around the neck exclusively, but then the traps start to pop up, that can affect the measurement, right? I would say it's similar to the forearm. Like, this can give the illusion that you're thicker. Now, in terms of the hands, I don't know if you could do that. Some people would say it's possible, but I think it's mostly the fat accumulation that makes a difference in this regard. Like, if you look at Kiriako's Grizzly, his hands look like freaking sausages, right? But also, his damn head is big too. So, the greatest example I have is to look at fat girls, not to be judgmental towards them, but I'm just saying they got these big heads when they turn around, and like thicker looking limbs as a whole. It's not because they got buff. They did all this resistance training. So if a girl who doesn't even lift can look thicker like that, then obviously it's going to apply to a dude who gets fat enough. So yeah. I'm a bloat the only one. Gotta turn bear mode into gorilla mode. Man, I thought about changing the name years back, but you guys loved it so much that I just stuck with the name, So it's probably here to stay. Is he only answering super chats? I'm not. But the thing is, bro, if I don't answer these super chats first, they're going to disappear. And I hate when that happens, Like, if you're paying money, man, I got to address this. Let's see here. David Amnon. Been training seriously for a year while bulking on a good upper lower split, and my lifts are still novice status. 145 times 8 bench, 225 for 8 squat, 375 for 5 trap bar at 142 and 5'4". What do you think I can do? What do you mean? Like, your strength potential? It's impossible to tell. There's nobody on the history of planet Earth that's ever existed and ever will exist that can tell you exactly what you're going to hit long term. It's not possible. You've only been training for a year, bro. Now, obviously, your numbers could be better for some things, like the bench. So the first thing I would ask is, what's a good upper-lower program? How do you know that's a good upper-lower program? Because I have many novice lifters who can hit your bench after only a few months. So if you got that after a year, which is typical to have like a plate and a half, close to 2 plates, I have to question that your program is a good upper-lower. Not to be a douchebag. The only thing that might be good is the squat and the trap bar, especially for your weight. At 142, that's a good pound for pound strength. But the upper body, there's something seriously, in my opinion, there's something lacking in that routine right there. So if you optimize your program, maybe you're going to get this explosive level of growth, bro. Maybe your bench is going to shoot up to 2 plates in a few months, and you'll be like, holy crap, I have good genetics. So it's hard to say when I'm skeptical of your program as a whole. But lower body, it's pretty average progress if you ask me. Nothing wrong there. I would say you're probably an average type of guy, and average people could do a lot. So if you look at the EXRX charts, EXRX, let's do this. EXRX strength standards. Okay, we're gonna do this together. All right. So let's go bench, deadlift, squat. So first of all, you're in this category right here. I would say this number, 290, 100% realistic as an average person. Now, obviously, you're going to bulk up. You're easily going to hit 150, 165, if you ask me. So maybe your bench is going to be between these two numbers right here. 330. Dedicate that as a long-term goal if you're an average person. And I'm talking real long-term. Otherwise, 275. Done. Oh, sorry, I was looking at this. I'm a freaking idiot sometimes. Regardless, you're going to be right here, okay? So 320, 255. Get a number in between those two values, you'll be fine, okay? Deadlift. Bro, that's easy. Come on, you're right there. You can get a 500-pound deadlift. Squat. Yeah, 4.5 plates. Try to get 405, bro. 365, 405. These are just general numbers that I'm giving. I don't find it's unrealistic. All right. If I have a lift in a rep range 6 to 8, is it considered progress if I hit top range in all the sets, then up the weight and hit the low end in all the sets? Whoa, I got to reread that, bro. Is it considered progress if I hit top range in all sets, then up the weight and hit low end in all the sets? That's just the natural progression of how things go. Like if you hit, let's say you're doing 3 sets of 8, 6 to 8, and you got 8, 8, 8, then you jump the weight by 10 pounds and you're getting 6, 6, 6. That's what was supposed to happen for the most part. Or some would argue that it should be a bit better. Like maybe you get 8, 7, 6 or 8, 6, 6 or 7, 6, 6. You know? So yeah, I don't really know what to tell you. Like, that's just basic linear progression, bro. It's not a bad sign if you ask me. Okay. As a 100% natural 22-year-old, would you say a 575 deadlift, 525 low bar squat, and 315 pause bench, and 205 OHP strong? Bro, not only is it strong, it's fucking elite if you ask me. Like, that is absolutely amazing, and you should be really proud of yourself, bro. You put most fitness influencers to shame. And assuming that deadlift is conventional, like you're stronger than me, you're low bar, you have stronger legs than your boy. How do you feel about that? You know, OHP 205 with 315 pause bench, that's a great ratio, perfectly balanced. You're the jack of all trades, bro. Like, I think a lot of people are jealous as hell right now, just me saying these numbers out loud. Like, you got, bro, you're only 22, man. Do you realize how high your potential is? I could see you hitting a 4-plate bench, 600 squat, 700 dead, 250 OHP. To me, you're going to get there if you do things right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Vegan Gains said he'd fight you, Jeff Cavalier, and the dude from Shredded Sports Science and win. Opinion? Did he say that? I mean, I don't know why he'd want to fight me. I like his content. I think his messages on veganism are correct. Whether you're vegan or not, he knows his stuff when it comes to nutrition. But if he wanted to fight me, I wouldn't be opposed to it. And I don't care that he's 6'3". Like, it doesn't... But I don't see the point of that, bro. Like, what would be the advantage of us doing a fight online? I'd rather do a workout with him, you know? Let's bench together instead of fight each other. If you had to choose one back exercise for the rest of your life, which would it be? It would unquestionably be the weighted pull-up. It's going to cover you on pretty much all levels because you get access to any variation possible. If you want more lats, use the neutral grip, keep the humerus tight to the body. You can do the arch back style at the top, sternum pull-up. You can do chin-up. You can do wide grip from upper back. You can use gymnastic rings, rotate, the semi. The variations are endless, and nobody who gets a strong weighted pull-up will have a small back. So it's the jack of all trades back movement, if you ask me. You just can't beat it. 1,000 kilo rack pull above the knee possible. Well, first of all, that would be exactly 2,200 pounds for the most part, right? The world record is 2,000 pounds. Unofficially set by Steve Justa. If you read his book, I think it was called Rock, Iron, Steel. It was called the hand and thigh lift. So he claims to have done 2K on that lift. Now, if he did do that, then I would say if someone like Thor or Eddie Hall decide to specialize for the next few years, they can easily surpass that. You know, maybe they would get the 1,000 kilo rack pull above the knee. You know, if the record actually is 2K. So yeah, just to say, I did 1,140 pounds. Eric Bugenhagen did like 1,350. Mike Machine Bruce did 1,500. And if you believe in Nether Beast, remember him? Apparently he did 1,800 on that lift, assuming it wasn't falsified, you know? So that lift is psychotic with what you could do. What do you think about sets of 100 reps on compound lifts for training GPP? For GPP. Yeah, that's fine. I was going to prepare to roast you and be like, for hypertrophy, it's not a good idea, man, because that is an extreme form of compensation. For you to hit straight up failure on that is going to be very hard, and most people don't have the psychological tolerance, you know? And it's probably the least efficient thing you could possibly do for hypertrophy. I would cap it at like 33, 50 reps, you know? Like, really, that's the max. If I ever came up to Mr. AlphaDestiny on the street, I would kneel and lower my head to him out of respect and admiration. Well, I appreciate you, Jeff. I would simply extend my hand out to you, shake, and then chat it up for as long as you want, you know? Usually that's how it plays out when I see guys in the street. They're always very positive. They have a big smile on their face. They're like, yo, what's up? You know, we take a picture together, and we talk for 10, 20 minutes about, and then we go on about our day. And I'll see you in the comments section. Looking forward to chatting up again. It's always chill. Never had a bad experience. Had a good question. Okay, right here. Joanski. Alex, isn't it bad to use a lifting belt all the time? Aren't you supposed to use it periodically? My man, that's what I used to think years ago. But now it's like, I understand that what a belt does is increase muscular activation, your force output. So why would you not wear it? You don't lose the ability to brace if you don't train with a belt. In other words, I can take it off at any moment and perform just as good. Keep in mind, I did beltless training for years. If you're familiar with my older content, I used to say, yeah, no belt, bro. Like I did that 1140 rack pull above the knee, no belt. I think I bought my first belt in 2017. So, you know, hasn't been that long in comparison to the grand time I've been training. But I'm not going to be this macho guy that's like, yeah, I'm beltless all the way, bro. No, I'm going to use equipment because I believe in longevity and I believe in maximizing my gains. That's why I wear wrist wraps, elbow sleeves. And you know what? I have some knee sleeves too. They've been in my closet for like 2.5 years. I haven't worn them at all for the most part. And I think that's a mistake. You know what? I probably should start wearing those damn knee sleeves. Why the hell not? If it's increasing warmth and compression, man, I'm going to wear some damn knee sleeves. So I don't care about these stupid standards that people have. Like, oh, you're not a real man if it's not fully raw. Like, fuck off, man. I know it's not you specifically, but you just got to train with what's the best. Gorilla! I love gorillas. Keep posting your gorillas, guys. I don't know what's going on here, man. Everybody's got a random question, but they're all posting the same gorilla. Yeah. Makes it seem okay. Camera. This is the Sony a6600, and I'm using the 30mm f1.4 Sigma lens. I also have the Sigma 16mm, which I'll actually use this guy for 4K because it's 24mm cropped in, since this is an APS-C sensor, and then plus the 1.5x factor, it makes it like a 30-something full frame. So this gives you some nice shots in a tight space, you know. My 30 is more portrait mode, you know, which is what I'm using right now. God of War Secret Lab chair while he's rocking the Kratos look. Yeah, bro. I love this Secret Lab chair. I actually bought it with my own money, guys. You know, a lot of influencers get it sent out. I bought Secret Labs before it was really popular. I think I got this in 2018. Now, as you can see here, these fucking marks. I was babysitting my sister's cats like 2 months ago. And that little guy that you saw, that little big one, his name is Zeus. He put all these marks. And I'm pissed about that because I love this chair, but hey, it's comfy, it still looks good, it's what it is, you know? Fit Lab. What's up, bro? Sony Club in the house. I use A6600 and A7R3 myself with several lenses. Sony's the best. Bro, Sony is the shit. Before that, I was Canon and Nikon. I much prefer the software of Sony, man. And the autofocus is fantastic. IBIS, just, it's great, you know? And I want to get a full frame, but the thing is, I feel like with what I have now, it works with what I do. And I got a really good lighting setup as well. Like right above me, I got the Aperture 200X with the Aperture Light Dome Mini. And that thing will give you amazing quality. Even with the honeycomb grid, something else, bro. Not even full brightness either. Achilles Hamti. Hey Alex, I'm 21 years old. I have a 60 kilo chin, 90 kilo dip, 160 kilo squat is a natural, 93 kilo body weight. Do you think a 3-plate bench, 4-plate squat, and 4-plate chin can be possible in a year? Yeah, 100%, bro. You got some really good numbers right now. And just off that dip, like your muscles are already jacked enough. Let me just say it like that. Once you get really specific on the benching, so you run like a powerlifting program, that 3 plates is going to come so fast because you already got the watermelon pecs. And then the squat is right up there. I'm going to have to convert this real quick. I suck at using kilos, guys. I can't do it, you know. 360. Bro, what the fuck you talking about in a year? It's going to take you a few months. You're right there, man. Good stuff, good stuff. And then the 60 kilo chin, that is what in pounds? That's 135. You got 3 plates. Okay. I don't think that's going to happen in a year. No. That might take you 2 or 3 years, realistically. It's a big jump, trust me. Like, for me, 3 plates to 3.5 happen relatively quickly. But then to add that extra 0.5, it was something else. So it changes when you get to a certain level. You'll see. But overall, man, you're a strong guy. Keep it up. This motherfucker. This guy got ads. Yeah, bro. I gotta monetize this, man. Make some moolah. No, I think I deserve to be paid. I'm giving you my time and answering some questions that everyone could benefit from. You know? Nothing wrong with that. What weights did you start with? Well, the thing is, I started lifting twice when I was younger. What happened is, I don't recall fully what happened, like all details, but I did calisthenics for years at home. But somewhere in the middle of that journey, I signed up to the gym for like a month. No, I didn't sign up there. I got invited. And I tested my bench. It was like 95 pounds for a few reps. But I was really young, man. I was like 14, 15, something like that. And this was with zero training. And then I went back to calisthenics. And then when I signed up to the gym again, I was doing a plate for reps. So that was my starting point. Which isn't amazing, you know. I was 143 pounds doing that. So I was doing a bit over my body weight. And then within 8 months, I was benching 225 for like, I think 5 reps, something like that. And then shortly after, 265. And then I plateaued at 275. And then the journey from that, 315, took a bit of time. And then being a low 300s bencher till now is when I, started my YouTube channel and documented everything. So I would say I had a pretty good start, realistically. Okay. Robert Greene books and Jordan Peterson books are good. I never read Jordan Peterson's books because I felt like maybe the advice was going to be generic based off like the table of contents, but maybe I should give it a read. I know he has 2 of them. Robert Greene, absolutely. He's one of my favorite authors. So much freaking wisdom in those books. Even if you want something that's condensed, bro, get this, bro. I always show you some books, right? But The Daily Laws, it's basically all of his best stuff, You get power, seduction, mastery, strategy, and human nature. Good compilation right there. Yeah, Robert Greene. My favorite was actually Mastery and the 50th Law with 50 Cent. Those were great. 40 Laws of Power would be my next one. Jordan Peterson was too religious for me. Really, eh? Yeah, I prefer when the authors don't get religious. Dude, Jordan's books will change your life. Yeah, I should probably read them, man. Probably should. Peace out, homie. I'm off to the gym. Yo, kill that workout, man. You got this. Non-fiction book recommendations. You can check out Bernard Cornwell. And what's the other dude who wrote... Here, I'll show you another one, guys. This one's... check this one out. Oh. Okay, I'm here. Alexander, God of War. Which is not really fiction, but Christian Cameron, bro. Check out his work as well. As you can see, this thing is... Yeah. So, I think I got this book like the end of 2016 or 2017, something like that. Yeah, I don't read a lot of fiction, to be honest. It's not my main thing. I prefer autobiographies and self-help, but not the cringy, common self-help. It's stuff that's not designed to be self-help, but it inevitably becomes that way. You know what I'm saying? Any why is he not noticing? Not noticing what, bro? I don't know what you're talking about. FitLab, I appreciate your super chat, man. Just a little thank you for all you do for the fitness community, brother. Thanks for helping to pave the way for people sharing quality info and adding real value for those who need it. Thank you, man. I always like reading your comments, and what I try to do here is do exactly what you just said. I think it sums it up quite nicely, and I'm honored, man. I try to give information. I'm an information man. I'm not here for drama or vlogs or any things that aren't going to help you. And when I talk about myself, it's never to brag or try to put others down. It's always in the context of just showing you what's possible and using myself as an example for what proper training can do. So, it's my way of connecting, that I'm a person who not only reads the science and looks at what other people are doing, but I walk the walk. I don't just talk, I got the body. I got the results. I excel at everything I put my mind to. I try not to have a big ego, although I used to in the past. And I hope that you guys can see that I'm just here to help. That's my objective. Help you. Obviously, I make a living off doing this, but the theme is information. You get gains, I'm happy. That's the relationship we have. So thank you for that awesome comment, man. Huge fan, bro. Always learning new things and consistently making progress. Started neck training recently and I had 1 to 2 inches in a month. That's crazy progress, dude. And thank you for that super chat, bro. 1 to 2 inches in a month. Like, fuck. That's beyond normal progress, man. Usually people will get their first inch in like 3 months. So, the 2 though? Like, for real, man? Fuck. How'd you do that? You watching UFC? Oh, who do you think the greatest UFC fighter is? Oh, man. That is a very debatable point. Because it also... You know what? I'm not going to start a war like that. It depends on the class. And what you define as... Like, is it the person who holds the title the longest? The person who has the most engaging fights? Who's been a champion in different weight classes? Very subjective, bro. So I'm not going to go there. But, yeah, this guy said Khabib. I mean, it's hard to argue against that. But the thing is, he's primarily a ground fighter. So I would say in absolute terms, you can call him the best. But... his striking isn't the best, if you ask me. Like, he's not bad at all. He's great, but there's better strikers, you know? And keep in mind, he's not a heavyweight. So, yeah, I'm not going to go there, bro. Huh. Would you recommend hip thrusts for lower back pain? You know, that's an interesting question, man, and I don't think I've had anyone ask me that before. Some people might be thinking, that's idiotic, right? If you have lower back pain, you obviously need to strengthen your lower back more. But you see, my friend, you are ahead of the game. Because usually, lower back pain is caused by losing your rigidity when you do certain exercise, and the lower back has to compensate because... some muscles are really weak. And which muscle is that in reference to lower back when you get pain? The glutes. So if someone does a tremendous amount of hip thrusts, maybe they take it from 250 to 500 pounds, which is totally doable, by the way, that might actually solve the issue when they go do heavy deadlifts and squats and all those other movements. It's not just the spinal erectors. So that's actually a smart position to have. Correct your weakness and the form will fix itself. So sure, I'll recommend that if you got back pain. Even a glute bridge. Okay. Alexandri Ronco. Hey man, if you had to choose 2 to 3 forearm exercises, what would they be? And should you buy a real neck flex or the $20 one? Oh, there's imitation ones. That ain't cool, bro. Because I don't know if there's much of a difference. Well, the difference you'd be paying for is quality. And the reason why I'm associated with neck flex, and it's pretty much the only harness I'm ever going to promote, is because it is the best. And your neck is not something you want to mess around with. Years back, and I made a video on this on YouTube. I'll even post, I'll show you right now. Or did I private that video? Cheap. Oh, right here. 5 years ago, guys. See this? Do I showcase it? This was a shitty neck harness that I bought years ago. Standard price, 25, 40 bucks. This is what you guys are probably going to be buying on Amazon or any fitness, sporting thing, whatever. That harness right there ripped off my head. Swear to God. Ripped. Boom. While I'm doing neck extensions. And apparently it was rated for like 400 pounds on top of that. So right then and there, I decided never again. Quality has to be the default. So if you're going to get a knockoff, why do you think they're able to price it like that? Because they're not using the right materials. Now, in regards to forearm training, fuck that harness. Yeah, seriously. In regards to forearm training, the weighted pull-up would probably be my number one choice. I find that if you do that without without straps, your grip just gets brutally strong. The next movement would probably be any deadlift variation, like probably the low, probably the high handle trap bar deadlift in terms of absolute load and the fact that it's not going to roll out of your hands. Like you can really focus on just squeezing the life out of that bar. And then the third movement is going to be like a wrist flexion type movement. This way you can directly isolate it, or I could reference a curl. If you do heavy ass curls like hammer curls with fat grips, those are actually really good. So yeah, I would boil it down to those 3 or 4. RDL standards to have a nice ass depends how much of an ass you want. Like I got freaking gorilla glutes, bro. And I can probably do RDL for a few reps in the 500s, but my rep work's going to be in the low 4s or mid 4s, right? I think if you could do 275 to 315 for 3 sets of 10, you're probably going to have a nice ass from RDLs. I would say that's very doable for sure. Ryan Dreher, your content has been very helpful. All the best. Well, thank you, man. I'm really happy that it's helpful. That's what I'm trying to do over here. And I'm definitely going to keep giving you the content you deserve. More good stuff on the way. Just to say I got this new lighting setup and all kinds of things that are always being upgraded. And some other things too that I'm not going to disclose right now. Ben Falconer. Hey Alex, do you still have the same views to fix anterior pelvic tilt belt squat and reverse hypers? And is there an effective way to find out what my exact weakness is? Great question, man, and thank you for the super chat. Yes, I do have that exact view. The reverse hyper will traction your lower back and get rid of that APT. It forces you to round the lumbar spine. So your sacrum is coming inwards and you're pulling on the discs in that position and strengthening it too. And then the belt squat, when you put that like on your upper glute area, it literally gets rid of the APT right then and there. Actually, my mom got into a car accident years ago and she has a messed up lower back as a result. And an APT, okay? Like that Donald Duck action. And I tried to make her squat for a long time. Tried all kinds of variations. Pretty much the only movement she was able to do was lunges. But she hates lunges, right? Because they're freaking hard. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you try belt squatting? And I even made her do it the DIY way, right? Where you stand up on the power boxes. And she was freaking out because that was the only squat that didn't hurt her. Like at all. And she's like, wow, I feel the pulling on the lower back. And the moment she would get out of it, it's like you can see the anterior pelvic tilt would be like more neutralized. So just off that, bro, I know that those two movements are effective, And then in terms of the weaknesses, how do you define that? Very easy. The simplest possible way is to max out. Do an all-out 1 max, and where your form breaks down, that's your weakness. That's it. So if you want to know if you have weak triceps, see how grindy you are right here in the final lockout. Not when you're right past the midpoint, but literally that final extension. I was coaching a guy who was also my friend. He was working out with me last year, and I would see him bench with chains, okay? We would do it together. His lockouts always looked amazing. Every single time. And he had long arms on top of that, right? They never looked like my reps. Ever. There was not one workout where his speed, and he went all out, 100%. We didn't have the same weak point. Him, it was right off the chest. So he didn't need more tricep work, basically. He would probably benefit from pause benching and stuff like that. So just do a 1 rep max, man, and that'll show which muscles need addressing, straight up. All right. We've been going for how long now? Is there a way to tell? It's been a while. I don't remember. But you look mishappen to say you work out. Huh? After seeing your vid on pause reps, I tried some and got humbled. Yeah, bro, they're always going to be humbling. If you want to humble yourself even more, try this, guys. Do the feet up bench press, so any sort of Larsen press, right? With a close grip, and do it for a 3 count pause at the bottom. You're going to drop about 25 pounds off the lift, and you'll lose 4 reps. Test it. You'll see that I'm right. Harvey Kamek, thoughts on snatch grip face pulls? That's not a bad idea. So if using those longer handles, yeah, because you're opening up more. It is a good idea. The thing is, though, when you do face pulls, that it naturally opens you up like that. So if I'm, like for example, I would personally recommend double rope face pulls as opposed to single rope, because that allows you to get the maximum effect here. If you do a single rope, you're limited to this range of motion. But the double, you get this. And that's what you want, okay? Same thing with gymnastic rings. When you use the rings, it's a long strap, and they can move side to side. So you can come out here, okay? So, okay, 160 minute stream, good. Anything that allows for more range of motion in the back is going to be superior. And therefore, a snatch grip face pull in which you're using a fixed position is going to be better than a regular bar. So some guys, you know those narrow straight bars? They'll do it like this, right? And they'll stop here. But with the snatch grip, you can go beyond your head. So that's obviously going to be superior from a hypertrophy standpoint. So definitely go for those, bro. When we playing RuneScape, Alex? Who knows, bro? Who knows? But RuneScape is a special game to me. And I recently found out that John Hack plays it. How crazy is that? I'm telling you, bro, if you want to learn how to grind, if you want to, yeah, for real, you want to learn how to grind, play RuneScape, bro. It applies to real life, trust me. Alex, why are your hands so yellow? That's calluses and probably beta carotene. So you see this? These are calluses. That's the yellow you're seeing, and that's also yellow. So I got calluses in the middle of my hand and the top. Okay? But if you look in the back, there's no yellow. It's just where the calluses are. You know what I'm saying? And down here as well. That's probably from, see that callus right there? I also use an aggressive knurling. Westside Power Bar 2.0 will do that for you. Yeah, he doesn't wash them. Exactly, bro. I've never washed my hands in my life. This guy wrote, gamers have a lot more potential. Unused potential for real. That's a fact, bro. My friend, okay, maxed out his RuneScape account. 99 everything. Now you would think, oh, he must be a super nerd, right? Must be skinny, weak, a little, you know what, right? Ha! He's in the military. And I would say from a discipline standpoint, he probably puts me to shame. He is a tough motherfucker. Wired differently from the average person. So, you look at that correlation, bro. Loving the Novice program. Can't wait to start Naturally Enhanced. I'm super inconsistent with clean eating. I really need to cut out fast food and drop 20 plus pounds. Advice. Well, I'm glad you're liking the Novice program, and Naturally Enhanced is going to be the cherry on top, bro. So, right off the bat, you mentioned something very important. You got super inconsistent with clean eating. That's going to be a problem if you plan on losing 20 pounds of fat. Because you might lose 10 pounds, and then the last 10 is going to take you forever to do. So what could have been like a 3-month cut is now 6 months because of your inconsistency. So in my opinion, bro, you have to be 100% like all in. For someone like you who has trouble being consistent, I would even tell you to drop the cheat meals or reserve them to once every 2 weeks instead of once every week or once a month. The less junk, the better. Don't even have it in your freaking house. Don't buy it. Uninstall Uber Eats. Cancel your Uber Pass, bro. Exclusively healthy eating is the way you got to do it. And then just give yourself a little bit of time. It's gonna strip off. 3 months. Think about it, man. 3 months. You finished the novice program because you're a bit in a fatter state right now. You're still recomping, right? And now you can bulk your way back up slowly. Unnaturally enhanced. Get yoked. You put on maybe 5 pounds like throughout half the year. And you're more muscular, you're stronger. Doesn't that sound nice? If you're inconsistent, you're not going to have that. It's going to be almost the end of the year. And you're still waiting to start the damn program. Get it over with. Do it right. You know you could do it. And I'm going to hold you accountable, bro. You super chatted me, keep yourself accountable. JRJM. Do it. Alright? And maybe consider a plant-based diet, by the way. That's going to help keep you full. Alright. Oh, we had a question right here. Matthew Seed. Should I do OHB with just bands, or should I do pike press elevated on rings to get depth? I want to do only weightlifting later. Right now, just home calisthenics. And you're, yeah, definitely pike push-ups, bro. 100%. First of all, if you want to get better at Olympic weightlifting, you're gonna need a certain degree of strength for one, and the overhead press with bands is not gonna give you that. It might give you the mobility, which is why I'm sure you recommended it. It's not stupid to do. You know, it's going to open you up. And if you're going to have your arms over your head like that, you got to be freaking mobile. So I would tell you, it's not a bad idea to mix in both. But in terms of primary emphasis, the pike press with the rings, that gives you that deficit action, right? So more range of motion, probably going to get you just as strong as a regular handstand push-up. And you'll find that the moment you start lifting weights, your OHB might be close to your body weight. Like straight up, the carryover is really high from that movement. And it's going to build your base strength that much more. So that when you go do weightlifting, you're just tanked out. So yeah, do that for sure. Starting to lose my voice, guys. Been talking for too long here. I'm going to wrap up in a bit, okay? Plus I got to do things very soon. Tom Whitchurch, do you plan to ever make a new version of Naturally Enhanced, also old school or RuneScape 3? I might update Naturally Enhanced, but the thing is, I did that in 2019 already, and I'm very pleased with the overall edition. I feel like it's still refined to this date. I don't have any negative things to say about it. Like, it's really on point, you know? So I'm the only thing that I would update is probably the pictures, because when I did the photo shoot, I was a lot younger, right? So I would do it with I would shave my head, right? And I would, you know, wear better clothes, obviously. And I would use my proper lights that I have here with my new camera and everything. So it would be higher quality from a visual perspective. And maybe attach some videos associated with it as well. But in terms of the system itself, everything is on point at this current time frame. Regarding old school or RS3, I think the answer is very obvious, my man. Old school. That's the game that I grew up with, and although RS3 had its moments, it eventually hit the point where it became unrecognizable. And to me, that was in 2013. It was right after, so the skill of divination came out, and there was a quest associated with it as well. I finished that, I got the quest cape, and then I never played it again. But then when I checked back years later, it was horrific, bro. Like, they had 2 new skills, I think. And it was just really freaking weird. Like, I can't, bro. So even though I had to restart on old school, the fact that it's more enjoyable as a whole, and keep in mind they have the Concurrent and all these other spots, that makes it fun, bro. So it's updated. It's not just the 2007 experience. There's more to it. And the community is very strong. Very chill. All right, Nito Linilo. Few months on your novice program, loving it, but I squat more than I deadlift because my lower back rounds, even at lower weight, minor anterior pelvic tilt. Worried of getting used to bad deadlift form, tips. So it kind of goes back to what I said before, but reverse hyperextensions and belt squats are going to really help correct the anterior pelvic tilt. And the thing is, you're a novice lifter who's having form breakdown on your deadlifts. That can be attributed to 2 things. 1, the muscular weakness that we just described. So you got to strengthen your glutes for 1. But 2, improper deadlift form. Are you sure you know how to deadlift? You know what would have been great, man? If you send me a video like Swiffer from before. This way I can analyze exactly what might be causing your pain. But I'm sure you're doing something off with your form. Maybe you're not pulling the slack out of the bar, or your hip positioning's off. Maybe you're stiff-legging it, but you don't have the strength, capacity to do that right now. It's got to be. I'm sure there's a freaking form issue, bro. You know? Like, you'll know when you film yourself. But in terms of, like, beyond strengthening the glutes, maybe change your program. I know you're on my novice program, and it's good, but maybe that's not the right program for you. Maybe you gotta do more of a bodybuilding system right now and just get stronger at all the muscles. Build your surrounding musculature. Or change the way you deadlift. Switch to, like you're doing the conventional right now, switch to trap bar. That's what I originally prescribed, right? Switch to high handles or do the block pull instead. Find a position that works for you. Samson Budak. I have an uneven bench. I feel like it's because my left lat is bigger than my right. Do you have any tips? Thank you for everything. Well, much love, man. Yeah, I have the same issue as you. My left lat is bigger, and it does cause some uneven form sometimes. However, it's still manageable. Really, the lats and the upper back in general helps you stabilize the bench, but at the end of the day, it's not what moves the bench. What I mean is, there's probably an imbalance in your pec or tricep rather than your back that's causing this. And the way you can fix this is not by doing unilateral work necessarily, like just switching to dumbbell bench. It's actually lowering the weights on your regular bench and focusing on perfect technique. Literally visualizing moving evenly and filming your sets as well. And probably the best movement for this would be the Larsen press, because that'll teach you how to properly maneuver your scapula as you press. A lot of guys are too locked into the bench. The Larsen will force you to protract, but as you protract, one of your arms is going to want to come up quicker than the other, right? So you'll learn how to do it evenly and under control. And when your legs aren't on the ground, you're less stable, right? So the lowering phase of the bench is going to be more controlled by design, so less likely to shift. And therefore, when you pause at the bottom, there's not going to be as much momentum. So when you explode back up, there's less shifting that's going to occur. So the Larsen press is an excellent strategy for this, as well as floor pressing. Stop the range of motion artificially. So the floor press, the range of motion is the same for everybody. Your arms hit, it's done. Even if you lower it more like that, what's going to happen is eventually you're going to be even. it's impossible for it not to be that way. You're going to be here, then you're pressing. You know? So that would be really helpful. And then finally, the one arm dumbbell press is going to be really good. Maybe train that side exclusively. So your left lat is bigger than your right. That usually causes more pushing. Hold on, let me think of myself real quick. It causes more pushing on the right side as a result. So you want to switch to left-handed dumbbell bench press for a few weeks. And that's about it. Hope that helps you out, bro. Yeah, we're going to start wrapping up, guys. I'm going to answer like 5 more questions, okay? I don't want this one to go up to 3 hours like the other time. Make video doing the Iron Wolf Navy SEAL workout. Man, I can't complete his workout at that pace. So it would look ugly. I mean, I could do it, but if you want the best motivation, you go directly to the source, right? And the other thing too is that I don't think my audience would resonate with a long video like that. Maybe they would, but just me having one angle on the floor, training for an hour straight, I feel like they would click off after like a minute and a half. Just so my instincts tell me. They would maybe skip certain parts of the video to see how exhausted I am, but I don't think they're going to watch me train for 1 hour straight. So I'd rather make an edited video where I'm showing a bunch of different angles, put a commentary on top, still a great workout, but it's maybe 6 to 10 minutes, even though it took me like an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? These days, like, I fucking love those raw videos on YouTube. I wish I could do that, you know, and still have the same impact on my audience. But I don't think it goes as well for most people. It's just human nature. So it would be awesome, but I'd rather be a bit more professional with how I do things. Though I really like what Iron Wolf is doing. Nothing but love and respect for him. Domian Baligir. Thank you for the super chat, man. No question, but I appreciate you. Okay. Italk Gory 99. Hey Alpha, is a 315 for 6 good for 7 months of training at 165? Started with 2 plates and struggling in the beginning, and this is now. Yeah, that's amazing progress, dude. First of all, a 2-plate beginner deadlift, like, that's well above average. So you should be ecstatic just off that. And 315 for 6 reps in 7 months, yeah, that's fine, man. That means your deadlift is somewhere in the mid-3s for a single, which is really good. A lot of guys, it'll take them, you know, about a year and a half to get 4 plates. So you're like a little bit under that and pretty close. So I would say you're only a couple months away. Maybe at the 10-month mark, you'll be at it. So I would, yeah, you're doing good, man. All right. Do a flip right now. Yeah, no thanks, bro. There's a guy I follow, Derek Was Calisthenics. He actually did a flip recently, and he cracked his head open. And it's set the year off in a really horrible way for him. And I feel so bad because, you know, he's a positive dude, giving good information, you know, puts effort into his videos, and now he can't even do what he loves because of an injury like that. And I'm so past, like, that level of ego of doing stunts and stuff. Like, imagine, you know, it's crazy, bro. I have a friend who does backflips all the time. Whenever he does it, I always fear, like, fuck, what if you break your neck or you hurt your lower back? Like, what's the point, you know? Yeah, I'm not doing that. No way. You can't pay me to do it. I won't do it. What do you think of isometrics for strength? I'm really big on isometrics, usually for calisthenics, because it actually does make you a lot stronger when you use heavier weights. So for pull-ups, if I'm doing 2 plates for reps, I can get over 10. if I'm just banging it out. But if I hold at the top for like 1 to 3 seconds, it's going to cut my reps in half, like easily. And with that, I can get more out of less weight. And it actually makes you strong at the top position. A lot of guys are unable to, like, they lack the end strength. Like, the moment they hit the top, they're going back down. And maybe that could lead to weaknesses in the long term. So I think that just holding difficult positions is really helpful. Gained respect for you, Alex. Thank you, bro. What's your take on training fasted right after waking up? Not cardio, just weights. I do this a lot, man. So, for example, that workout video you just saw me do, that was in a 100% fasted state. Because it just makes sense to me. You know, I've been doing it for years now. The first time I hit a 365 bench, it was done fasted. It's a good way to start off your day. You know, you feel good after training. You can have a nice meal right after, and then you just get to work. So in my case, it's very simple. I wake up, have a coffee, hydrate, and then turn on the camera. I start lifting, bro. I get all my clips in, all the B-rolls established right off the bat. I edit, upload whenever I feel like it. And then guess what? Now I got the rest of the day not to worry about my training. But if I need more footage, I can do that at nighttime. But it's not my actual workout. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to do extra stuff while I'm exhausted. I'll be in a fresh state. And if I got to get some footage for you guys, I'll do it at like 10 o'clock at night. Why not? So just off my experience, you can definitely work out that way. However, I will say that my best of the best sessions are in the late afternoon, nighttime, you know? But there's nothing wrong with starting like that. Okay. 21% body fat right now. Goal 15% in 3 months. Recomp or cut. What's your experience level? Because if you're a novice, I would tell you to recomp. You know? Well, actually, here's the thing, right? It's basically the same thing in the sense that if you're recomping, you're burning fat and gaining muscle at the same time. But if you're cutting, you're going a bit more aggressive with the calories, right? Now, if you're recomping, you're probably not going to get, 15% in 3 months. But if you cut, you will. Maybe even faster than that. So, based off the fact that you don't have to lose a lot of weight, I might just tell you to get it over with, to be honest. Spend like a month and a half. Go on a harder cut. It's done, and then you can start eating in a very small surplus again. So, yeah, just because you're not fat, you're already in a pretty good range, I would probably tell you to cut. Just get it over with, bro. You're right there. Like, you're not telling me you want to be 10% body fat, you know? So I think that's the difference. Where you currently are and how far your goal body fat is. In the event where it's not a tremendous gap, it's all good, you know, and that's you. Hegemonious. If you could summarize in a couple sentences how someone's diet should be for muscle and little fat, what would it be? Appreciate your content. I would sum it up this way. Get the app Chronometer, or some of you guys call it Chronometer, and scan everything that you eat. At least for some months, to understand what portions do to you. Whatever your maintenance calories is, eat about 250 above that. And that should be ideal for getting muscle. Slow fat accumulation. You're not going to get fat instantaneously. This is not a dirty bulk. You're not eating whatever the hell you like. It's just a little bit. A small surplus. That's all. And you'll find that over the months, you get a bit fluffier, but because you're gaining muscle and strength, it's completely worth it. And then when you cut, it's not going to take a tremendous amount of time. It's the dirty bulking that causes you to be half the year in a freaking deficit. But when you take your time with the fat accumulation, it goes well. And then for the protein, 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. You don't have to go above that. That would actually be a lot of money lost for no reason. And for satiation, you don't need that much protein anyway because you're trying to gain weight, right? So why would you try to satiate yourself and then maybe have trouble entering a surplus? You know, I would only recommend something like that if you are an easy gainer, in the sense that your appetite is so massive that you got to optimize everything to control your appetite. But if you just eat like till you're full and a little bit beyond, like you should be in a small surplus. So that's what I would tell you, bro. In the smallest summary possible. Appreciate you too. Tizea. My deadlift is regressing and I'm only a novice. Should I change the variation or maybe just drop the weight by 10-20% and rebuild from there? Yeah, regression is the law of accommodation. If it's going backwards, it's a big problem. And as a novice, sure, I could tell you to change a variation and that would probably fix the problem. But I think what might be potentially lacking here is nutrition. Or your program itself is not the best, because usually, even on a novice program, you're not necessarily going to regress workout to workout. It's just not going to go up. So if week 1 you did a 315 for 5 deadlift, and then week 3 you're still hitting 5 reps, and the reps in reserve haven't changed that much, it's not really regression. It's just maintenance, and that's not what you want. But if by week 3 you're now down to 295 for 5, I don't know if I'll blame the program for that. You know? Unless you seriously overreached. Perhaps you were doing this for so many months, like 6 months straight, and now your joints and everything is completely messed up, and you literally just have to deload, and the moment you come back, you'll be stronger. So that's how you're going to determine it, bro. Here's my advice. Take a deload first, okay? And by next week, if you don't come in stronger than your current level, that tells the entire story. So start with that. And then if it really is not an overuse issue, overreaching, I mean, yeah, you're going to have to drop the weight 10-20% and rebuild. Or you change your program completely. I don't know if it's the variation specifically that needs addressing. All right. Wrapping up. 2 more questions. Victor Azeredo. I hate most bicep exercises except the hammer curls. Can I only do hammer curls for bis at the end of my workouts? 100%, bro. What's the function of the biceps? Elbow flexion. So whether your hand is in a supinated position or not, it's still activating. Now, surely we can say that you're biasing the brachialis and maybe the brachioradialis as well by using a more hammer style grip. But to say that your biceps are not contributing to the movement is flat out false. It's like, that's all biasing it is. Like, you're putting more emphasis on a certain muscle, but you're not isolating. This is not an isolation exercise. I'm not telling you to do a wrist extension, which would hit these muscles exactly. It's a freaking curl. Not the best curl for bis, but you'll still get some activation in there. So, yeah, if you absolutely despise curls or you're a strength athlete and you're just doing the curls for your elbow health, the hammer is a great choice for that. So I would say if you do those twice a week, get progressively stronger, you're still going to notice some growth in your bis. Take your hammer curl from 30 pounds to 50 pounds for a 3x10, and you tell me if your biceps didn't get bigger. Thank you so much for answering me. Love you. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, hammer curls are good for elbow health. Absolutely. Okay. Last question of this Q&A, guys. By Sweeper. Alex, the bench in my gym is so damn narrow. Do you think removing the bench press and doing heavy overhead press first and push-ups for volume afterwards would be a good idea? I think that would be a really good idea, because we've all seen those narrow pads that are such garbage that even like an anorexic person would have trouble lying down on that thing. It's a crime that some gyms have benches of that size. It's dangerous. It's being cheap. It's stupid. You need a wider bench. If you're trying to bench off this and your shoulders are all over the place, it's impossible to get tight, and you're going to increase the risk of straining your rotator cuffs and just having garbage form as a whole. So personally, if I was in your situation, I would never bench press again, if it was actually as narrow as you're describing. So I would say that the minimum cutoff point should be 10 inches. If it's below that, please run for your life. So what I would tell you to do is not necessarily drop like horizontal pressing in general, because then you're not going to develop your chest. I know you mentioned the push-ups, but I would instead do a floor press, because now width is never going to be a problem. Because the floor extends to beyond. In fact, you can even take like a foam piece, put it on the floor, and that'll be wider than your bench. So now, if you're concerned about the range of motion of the floor press, well, it's only a partial. Elevate yourself on some foam blocks, and it's like a makeshift bench press. Still not the same thing, but it's better than being on something unstable. Instability is not good for hypertrophy in the event where it really affects your force production, and it's not good for your joints. So the floor press, that's your lift. Also, you can do weighted dips, which are probably even better than the bench press. Now, overhead press followed by volume push-ups. Would that be a great way of gaining mass? 100%. But I would flip the order around. Do your horizontal pressing first, vertical right after. Because now your delts are going to be in a fatigue state, and you can get more out of less weight on the OHP. But you don't want your delts to hold back your bench press and take away from your chest after, you know? Keep in mind, your delts get worked on everything. So, yeah, nothing wrong with volume push-ups, but don't just flip the order around. And you also want to consider going weighted in this case, since you're using it as a replacement movement. So don't just stick to like 3 sets of 33 or pseudo planche push-ups and stuff like that. Wear a weighted vest or a backpack or anything like that. It can only replace the bench press in an absolute sense if the percentages of your 1 rep max are matched. It has to be. So I can do 3 sets of 10 with 160 on the weighted push-up. That's like me benching somewhere around 2.5 plates. It's the same intensity. But if I were to do 45 pounds, so I just get a random weighted vest from Amazon and I'm wearing that, then you can't call it a bench press replacement. It's not. So I hope that clarifies that. So, yeah. I think we're good, guys. A lot of solid questions today. Went on for over 2 hours. Didn't hit the 3-minute mark, 3-hour mark, so that's cool. Hopefully it was clear, concise, informative. It was fun. Now we got Friday night to do whatever we like. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Or if it's a different time for you, depending where you live, start strong. Maybe now you're motivated to work out. This guy's like, no. Yeah, man. But don't stress. We're going to do another live stream probably by the end of the month. So I like doing these once a month at least. But twice is probably the highest I'll push it at. I'm not going to do it every single week. So look out. Either the end of February or March, we're going to do this again, okay? So in the meantime, stay tuned for some really cool content. Got an upcoming video about maxing out. That should be a fun one. So that's it. Guys, thank you for being here today. Now I'm tired. I'm going to eat. Got things to do. Own the rest of your night. I'll see you all in the next live Q&A. Peace. Appreciate you too, guys. Appreciate you.